Squad. Welcome to today's episode of the Squad Podcast. It's your girl, your coach, Coach Tocha Moore. I have two beautiful young ladies sitting next to me. I will introduce you to them in just a minute. I want to check in with you first. How are you doing? How are things going? You've set goals, intentions. You know what? I learned something new yesterday. I'm not setting my intentions for the day anymore. I'm setting my actions. So that's actions. Have you accomplished whatever they are? If you did it, let's give yourself a hug. Love on you because you did what you said. If you didn't, that's okay. Clean slate. We clap it up, clap it down, however you want to. Start again. There's always time to start over.
Yeah.
If you didn't reach it, it's okay. Y'all, right here, very excited. Oh my goodness. Miss and her sister. I be wanting to call you Shaquasia. Is that? No.
It's Shaquasia.
Shaquasia.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
or you just call me Quay.
I was going to say, we call you Quay. So Miss Quay, y'all strong. These ladies are the Juice Crush. If you say it fast, I get a little tongue-tied. They are entrepreneurs, lovely women, have an amazing story of how they got started on the entrepreneurial journey. We are going to talk through. It was something very painful for them. We're probably going to cry, so get your tissue, okay? Be ready. And something that life happened to them, but they were able to take what was grief and turn it into legacy. And so I'm very excited.
Yeah.
It's going to resonate with you, ladies. Somebody's going to feel something today. And so I'm excited. Y'all, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for agreeing and saying yes.
No problem.
We worked together at a previous broker. We're both in real estate. And so that's how I got to know them. And then just seeing them through the community and realizing that they started a bit. I was like, wait, who? And I was like, I didn't know. So when I found out, I was like, girl, I didn't know. And so I'm so excited. I patronize them as much as I can. Usually when I go to get my nails done, because I'm on that end of town, I'm like, all right, let me stop by and get my juice. They are fresh juice, anything that you need for a healthy, like a detox. They have shots, to keep our immunity system up. You name it, they probably will create it, okay? Because they are all things natural, so it's really cool for me to get some fresh juice, and I don't have to do it myself, okay?
Right. We got you.
I'm going to let them share anything they want to about themselves, and let the squad know who you are. And
I'm Shaquasia. I'm the oldest, because everyone always asks, who's the oldest? I'm the oldest. Originally from Albany, New York, but my mom brought me to Myrtle Beach when I was 7 before she had this one. So I am a native of Myrtle Beach. Grew up in Myrtle Beach, went to Shaquasia, then graduated from Shaquasia, went on to college, and never thought I would come back here. And now I'm back.
Now I'm back. I was like, I'm never staying in Myrtle Beach. And here I am.
After like 15 years, I'm back. So there's my story.
Hi, I'm Labria Strong. I am the youngest sister. Born and raised here in Myrtle Beach. So I always say I'm the Southern belle of the family.
Yeah.
Grew up at Horry County Schools. I went to the University of South Carolina. Okay. Also didn't think I was returning, but life be lifing. So we're back, and I'm actually happy to be back. I feel like, growing up here, we didn't take advantage of being in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And like, dang, should have bought a lot of property.
I remember when I said you could buy something for free, we should buy a plot. And he was like, no. And now he's like,
oh my God.
Kicking ourselves in the butt every day. Every day.
Why did we jump on it?
Oh my God.
Girl, same. I'm here, been here all my life.
Yes.
I'm leaving. I'm moving. And I was like, no, you're not. And I was like, I want to be in Myrtle Beach. But like you said, just realizing now, I'm so thankful that I'm raising my daughters here.
Yeah.
I too went to Shaquasia once a brave, always a brave, period. Just raising my daughters where I grew up at school and how much it's changed.
Yeah.
Wish we'd have hopped on that train. But here we are.
There's more trains to hop on.
More trains. Exactly. So, all right, we are going to get into it. So let's start from the beginning. Wherever you guys want to start.
It's 2018. I'm going through a divorce. My grandmother just had a stroke, and my mother is. Oh no, let's go back. Let's go back to 2017. Yes. my mom, we took my mom to, she called us and said she had to get a colonoscopy. And so Bree wasn't going to go, but I decided to come because she had to have somebody take her. Then Bree woke up that morning and was like, no, I'm going too. Thank God that she did. Because after the colonoscopy was done, the doctors took the two of us in the room to tell us that our mother had a tumor in her colon. And so we were under the impression that she was told that she had this tumor. She comes out of the room after the anesthesia wears off, and she's just like, well, what happened? And I'm like, well, they didn't tell you? And she was like, no.
What's going on?
So we are like, girl, they're saying that you have a tumor in your colon.
Cancer.
And it's cancerous. And the only thing she could say, and I can remember her saying, was like, what? Like, how? No one in my family has this. She kept saying, no one has this. No one has this. And if I could do things differently, I would like make sure I would have stayed in town longer for her to process it, because we were so young, and I'm in property management, and I had to get back to my property. It was always like, let me get back to work. Let me get back to work. So we both went back to Columbia. Like, we didn't stay with her to figure this out that day. We all just were in a disarray, like, what's next? We don't know.
Right.
I said, well, they're going to go ahead and give us I guess they told us the things that were coming up as far as her going through chemo and radiation. And so I said, we'll figure this out, along the way as they'll let us know. But in the meantime, let's just go ahead and do what we need to do. So we all went back to work as usual. And then she started the doctor wanted her to do radiation first, because they were thinking that the radiation would shrink the tumor before her actual surgery to remove the tumor. But that didn't happen that way. So the radiation didn't shrink it the way they wanted to. And when it was time to do the surgery, it was, I guess, the way the tumor was lodged in her colon. It was like at an angle like this. So they removed more than they wanted to remove. And then that's when she got the colonoscopy bag. Yeah. And is it called colonoscopy bag? Colostomy bag. Yeah. Then she went through chemo. She stayed in the hospital for like 40 days because the healing process took so long. During this time, my grandmother had a third stroke. So we were in Grand Strand with both of them. One is on one side, the other's on the other side.
I knew Grand Strand like the back of my hand. It was like, okay, I'm going, you good? Oh, let me go upstairs and see her. It was, they got a new hot wing. Like,
yeah, we saw all these wings come up. Meanwhile, we're living in Columbia. So Bree's like, girl, I gotta go home.
Yeah. I was like, I gotta move.
Yeah. And before 2017, I had just moved back from Atlanta to Columbia. So I'm so thankful that worked out, where I was 2 hours away. But we were ripping and running this road like I know how to get to Columbia with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
I would leave at 5 o'clock in the morning to get here at 7. We were just going back and forth. So Bree decided to move her life back home to be their caretaker. And then I'm married. So I'm like, I got to be here with my husband. I'm one of the first ones to get married in my family. I don't know anything about marriage, but I know my mama need me. So it's like, going through all this stuff. There was a time when my ex-husband asked me to move, and I'm like, I can't. I just really can't move. I'm glad I didn't take that move, because my mom's health went downhill once my grandmother had her fourth stroke. And that was when 2018 happened. So that's when I'm now going through separation. My grandmother has her fourth stroke, and my mom is declining because her and my grandmother are so close. It's yeah. So she's worried about my grandmother, and she was always her caretaker for years. My grandma's a double amputee. She's diabetic. My mom was her general caretaker for a long time. So then after that happens, my grandmother passes in March of 2018. And we were thinking my mom's going to be okay. Again, I wish we would have stayed with her to make sure she was okay. We went back to life as usual for us. Okay. But she's grieving, and we don't know the process of grief. Right. We don't know the stages of it either. So she's home alone a lot. And while Bree's at work here, she's still her caretaker, but she's home alone a lot. And then one day in May, Bree calls me and she's like, you need to come home. And I'll let you take over from there, because I feel like I'm talking a lot.
It happened so fast. Yeah. Grandma passed in March 2018. I just felt like my mom just kind of gave up. Yeah. It's when you hear people saying they probably passed from a broken heart, I know she did, because at her final stages, she was just like, oh, I gotta go check on mom. Yeah. And it was like, yeah. It was like, she knew, well, she always raised us to be close and to stick together. And I just felt like she was just like, you two have each other. Yeah. I need my mom. And, she just stopped. I think she just gave up and she stopped fighting and she just couldn't take it anymore. She was weak and she went through a lot. And dang it, Tasha. But yeah, and so it kind of happened quickly. And then, we were going back in the hospital like every week. I'm just trying to figure it out. And then, the doctors are pretty much like hospice. And when you hear hospice, it's like, what? But, people also don't realize hospice doesn't always mean end of life.
Yeah, it does.
But it does say, like they're going to need
more help,
care to make sure that they're comfortable, regardless of, because grandmother in New York, she was on hospital for 5 years. And she was kicking them, so it's like, it's different. So, but when they said that, and I think, in my mom's ear, she's just like, oh my God,
this
hospice, this is it. Like, so I think that was her final, like, my girls are fine and I want to be comfortable and be with my mom.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was May 17th at 11:55. We were all in the house. Her hospice nurse did let us know, like, I see her breathing. I look at her condition.
Yeah.
You probably got 24 hours.
Yeah. Less than.
And we just brought her home from the hospital. So we, they put in a hospice bed or what have you. And when she came and she was like, yeah. So we were calling everyone just, to kind of say their goodbyes. And that, helped us say, this is it. Prepare yourself. May 17th, 11:55 went in the room. We were all talking. And then she looked at me. She was like, and I said,
and I had just walked out. I mean, people know when to go.
Yeah, and who to go with. Because this has always been a ball of water. We all know.
I am. I'm a Pisces. Oh my gosh. But yeah, she went with her. But like the stages of transitioning is wild, because now that I play it back and I see it through others who are transitioning, that last day they talk and then they just look at you for the next couple of days and then the breathing and then it's like, oh, this is for real. But if that lady didn't tell us,
we would have had
I would have been no good. So I'm so thankful that she gave us like the heads up, like, girls. And then you still don't process it because you're like, oh my gosh, my mom is about to die.
Yeah, you can never be prepared.
You can't be prepared for that ever. But then you're worrying about that for those 2 years from 2018 to even after COVID, it was a blur. So it's like you're trying to make sure you have everything prepared, and other people who your mom impacted their lives are there. But you're not thinking about yourself like, this is your mom.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, let me call her best friend. Let me call my cousins. Let me call my aunt. Let me call, so we're just trying to call everybody. Our family in New York is on the phone talking to her, letting her know it's okay. And it was a lot. So I don't think the two of us even had that time together. Yeah, we gotta, what? So yeah.
How old were you guys at the time?
I was 25.
Okay.
And I was 30. I just turned 33.
Okay.
Yeah, in March. And so yeah, that was your young girls too. And I'm like, I'm 33, but I gotta raise this 25-year-old. So yeah.
She swears she my mama. So
that's what the oldest is. So yeah, it was like, oh my gosh, my young sister, she was robbed so early. That's all I thought about. My mom was 60 when she passed. She had her parents for 60 years, or her mom for 60 years. So I was like, cancer wasn't or isn't prevalent in our family. So when they did say colon cancer, it was like, how? But, you really check and you just never know. You really don't. So yeah, we called Lattimore, and when he called us back and he was like, what?
Like, yes, you were here 2 months ago.
So we were making jokes out of it.
I'm like, I need a discount.
She asked him for a discount. She did.
I asked for a discount. My grandma's casket. I'm like, listen, she a double amputee. She don't even need that space in it.
Yeah, we asked for these discounts.
Oh, you gotta laugh to keep from crying.
And at first we didn't want to even be bothered because we just had people over, Black people. And we had said on there, I was off of Facebook for a while and I got back on. I remember saying, please leave. We just need some privacy today. Yeah. Our cousin Connie called and she said, listen, girls, they're coming to my house. Y'all just open one of their houses up and I will sit there for y'all. And I'm so thankful for her for that because she knew we couldn't handle it and she was going to handle it for us. So
shout out to Cousin Connie. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to have her watch this so she can see that.
But yeah, we are so thankful for the support family to help us get through that because 2 young girls planning the funeral, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So yeah, that's our story with our mom and how we started coming back. Then we decided, the two of us, I was taking over a big project in Columbia that I was renovating the whole property. And I want to say my mom's funeral was that Friday of Memorial Day weekend. And my boss called me that Tuesday, because Memorial Day is a holiday, so that Tuesday, and she said, when are you coming back to work? Because I was already gone for like 3 weeks. And they were really supportive. Both our jobs were supportive. But when she called and said, when are you coming back? I said, oh no, I can't.
No, that's right.
I can't.
Calling me, telling me when I'm coming
I can't. So I called her the next day I got back. I said, I'll be back on Wednesday. I got back. I said, yeah, I'm done. I'm giving my 2 weeks. I need some time. And she was like, no. Let's get to this project. They paid me well. I said, okay, I'll give y'all that. But then after that, Bree and I took like a whole year off. Yeah. We took an entire year off.
Good for you.
And we just traveled. We came back here to Myrtle Beach. No one knew we were here because we were in and out. They knew we were around, but they didn't know we were here. So we were just, I said, airport's here, mall's here. Let's go back home. Yeah, the beach is there. We spent a lot of time home in New York. We just did whatever we wanted to do for a year straight, and it was great. Yeah, it was good. I wish we would have went to therapy during that year, but we went to therapy when we went to therapy, so that's all that matters.
2 nuggets. I hope y'all caught that. Take some time. Get some therapy. Grief is a process, and I don't think we get taught that.
We don't.
I said, I told my oldest daughter the other day, I was young, when my mother-in-law passed away, my mom. And I said, I didn't think about it. I was just trying to help y'all through it. I wished I would have let them go through therapy, even though they were young.
Yeah.
It was like right, before her graduation. And that was and she's like, all I remember is grandma saying how excited she was to see me graduate. And so I feel like my daughter is stuck in that. Yeah. And so, I just talked to her the other day, like, I think, it's time. Like, doesn't matter, like you said, when you get it.
Get it.
It helps, okay?
Yeah, it does.
Hope y'all caught that.
Yeah.
Catch them, okay?
Ooh, yeah.
So Juice Crush manifest.
It manifests out of us juicing.
So going back to, let's see, end of 2017, my mom was just she didn't have an appetite. She was hiding food from us.
Yeah.
And so she was hiding it because she didn't want to disappoint us, and she knew, like, I have to eat. She just couldn't. Chemo takes so much a toll on your body, and it's like, she just like, she didn't want to tell us she was weak, but she was. So I'm like, okay, well, you gonna drink? Okay, you drink. So we're gonna do these small protein smoothies and making these juices because we went to a specialist in Atlanta and she was severely dehydrated. They couldn't even give her an IV. Yeah. So it was just like, okay, we gonna figure this out. And, unfortunately, I think we did jump on, that a little bit too late. I think we should have started on that a little bit early, but this is something new for us. Right. We're just learning and kind of learning as we grow with anything, right? And yeah, so that's how the juicing and smoothies kind of started, just trying to get her healthy, get some nutrition in her body. And, we researching the benefits and, trial and error at home.
Okay. Trial and error at home. We juicing to help mom with nutrients and eating and things like that. Yeah. So then after mom passed, where did you guys land? Like, was it just like, hey, we're gonna start this, or did you just start juicing at home, like for yourself?
Yeah, so we were, and then even though we did take that kind of year off, COVID happened, and we're like, oh girl, we got to get on our,
No, but before then, we wanted to look at franchising a Smoothie King.
Oh yeah, okay.
We were used to having Smoothie King by our house, and then 2019, I moved back to Atlanta. So now I'm back at work. And I'm like, yo, we really need to look into franchising. There wasn't one at the time here. And so she was like, we should. But then you see them franchising.
Fees are ridiculous.
Cheesecake Factory. My husband was like, no. I was like, well, never mind.
Yeah.
When I go to Charlotte.
I'm going to do the Homer Simpson and back up in the gas because it's a lot. And then you have to do, once I learned about franchising and you can't do the things you want to do, we were like, why would we do that? So, we came up with a couple of recipes, and I was at my apartment in Atlanta, like juicing for myself a lot. And then I was letting her know, I was like, this is a good one. This is a good one. Boom, boom, boom. And we would still talk about it. And then that's when COVID happens. And I'm now like, well, I can't travel anymore for my job. So it's time for me to go back home. So I'm back home. We're home, and we're like, we don't understand what's going on with this thing. So we started juicing for ourselves. And
then our family and friends were like, yo, give me something, make me something, you know, and then they're like, we'll buy it. And we're like, okay.
Call from a restaurant one night and they all put in the order. And I told Bree, I said, oh my gosh, we got something here. It was like, we only had like 7 recipes that we were playing around with. But when
no names. It was like, you wanted number 1, number 2, number 3. It was, yeah.
They called us and we were putting them in jars at that time. And we was up for, it didn't take that long. And I was like, okay, this not that bad. We got their order together and then it just went from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this started getting a little scary. So, you know, I'm PR. I went to USC for PR. So I'm always like protecting the brand, protecting the image, you know. And I told her, I said, I know people are spiteful. I don't want anybody to call DHEC on us. Right. I don't want anyone to know that we're behind. So it was a form of secret marketing and people really did not know who was behind Juice Crush until we would deliver
to their house.
And they were like, oh my, that's your company? Because again, they don't know we're here. Because I was in Atlanta. So I would be like, yeah. And then that person would tell somebody and that person would tell somebody. And I'm like, I've never ordered from people I didn't know, me personally. Thank y'all for trusting us. Yeah, because y'all do that. But yeah, it just went crazy. And we had to start ordering bottles. We started like, okay, we need to come up with more recipes.
Better juicer.
Yeah. And I got my line sister involved, who's a doctor in internal medicine. I had her look over the recipes and give us what the benefits were. Like we actually went through we weren't saying, oh, this is good for that. We actually let her look at everything. And she was like, add this in there. Yeah, this in here, that'll be for this. So we really got serious about like the recipes and the benefits of it because we knew people had ailments that they wanted to heal during COVID. And we wanted to be that go-to.
Started in secret, didn't really know what they was doing. Like,
at all.
We playing around a little bit with these
recipes
at the house. Y'all know how we do, right? Playing around with the recipes, and then we're like, okay, so that was the moment, y'all. There are those moments. You have to pay attention to them. Yeah. They were like, all right, wait, okay, this is something. You know, people are asking. They don't even know who really is behind it. You need one. And somebody was telling somebody, so you can start a business without having a complete plan. Do y'all hear that? That's the nugget that I take away from that. You can start it without knowing all about it. And then God places people. Line sister, hey girl, listen, I need to look this recipe for me. Can you tell me what you know what it is or whatever? Understand, I love that they didn't have a plan, their mom started the book, they didn't know anything else. Right? But they decided like, hey, this can be something. Let's just start.
That's it. And that's exactly what we did. We just started.
We answered the phone and they're like, we placing an order. We're like, okay.
It was a thing, you know. Then we started. Well, we wanted the name to be catchy and then we wanted the names to be catchy. And at the time, we knew how big of success that Pinky Cole was having with Slutty Vegan. And I'm like, to breed sex cells. And Pinky's a soror as well. So it's like, listen, let's go ahead and follow our sex cells and make the names risky or risque. And people love the names. And, you know, so we just started brainstorming a whole bunch of names. We couldn't do so much in the house. So it was just cold pressed juices in the house. And it was at my house. And I live in my mom's old house. So I told her, like, girl.
Got 2 refrigerators.
Yeah. We were serious about it.
Deep freezer.
We got a contract with the what's the food?
With the produce market?
We got a contract with them. We were outsourcing all of our produce. It became really, really big in the house. Yeah, it did. And then I was also managing the sneaker store. She was working in real estate. So I'm at the sneaker store all morning and then juicing all night, no sleep, go back to the store. It was just a lot. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, and eventually she was like, I can't come home without seeing juice and thinking about juice and food.
Like, I'm coming home produce.
And I'm in her house like, hey girl, we juicing over here.
Yes, sacrifices.
Yeah. Okay, so from when you started to now, what does holistic mean to you? Because I know we talk about like holistic lifestyles, different things like that, and you said, you know, it's like vegan. I've heard the food is amazing. I have to try it one day. But so what do you feel like from when you started to now? What does it mean?
Honestly, it's betting on yourself and doing your own research and getting back to what our grandparents and great-grandparents started, you know. The doctor told us with our mom, and when the surgery didn't go as planned, you're an experiment. Everyone's body isn't the same. Even though I'm studying this is what to look for, this is what to do, your body may not react the same. My mom had a surgery and was in the hospital for 40 days.
Yeah.
Her body didn't act the same, or what you were planning on doing, it just didn't react like it,
Right.
So if they can experiment with us, why can't we experiment with natural products?
Come on, word. That was it. Because why?
This doctor who, he's good at his job. I respect him because not everyone is going to be real enough to say, you're an experiment.
And he said it with no type of, he was just like, matter of factly. And
you're an experiment. Like, and all you can do is respect that, right? And so it's just like, well, I mean, you really don't know.
Right.
Because we both are diagnosed with the same thing. Mm-hmm. I'm still an experiment. It's not going to work out the same way for you as it is for me.
Right.
We're different. So if I know that, okay, let me experiment this on my own. Let me figure out this natural product.
From fruit and vegetables.
Well, fruit and vegetables, something that was God given to us. You know, like we can grow it in our yard, even though they probably don't want us to.
But I'll give them a cut.
But we know what we're putting in our product. Yeah. What I'm doing. I'm not experimenting and throwing, chemicals and compounds and all that stuff together. So yeah, I mean, experiment in a natural way.
That's what it means to me, like natural herbs. Just get into like, I think I don't listen to the doctors all the way anymore. Like after going through that with my mom, it's like, there's got to be a natural way to heal this. So let me look into this before I take that drug that you are insisting that I take. When we don't know what that's going to do to my kidney, my liver.
Side effects.
The side effects of things are serious, and we are so quick, and we hear it every day. Well, let me ask my doctor if I could drink this. It's fruit and vegetables, baby. That's it.
Right.
And that's what we go through this all the time. It's just fruit and vegetables. That's it. You should ask your doctor, should you really be taking them pills? But
we're not saying, don't take your medicine.
I'm just saying, do your research.
Definitely consult your doctor, but do your research.
And then the other part I want to add to that on what they're saying, you can get more than one opinion.
Yes.
I think sometimes we think this is my doctor. I've been in for 50 years. And they serve a purpose. Don't get me wrong, because I have people that are friends, and I'm not saying they don't. But you also are allowed to do research.
Yeah.
Don't go down the rabbit hole of what's on the internet, but really speak to people who this is their field. Like, I had something, I went to the doctor and they were like, okay, this is what's going on with you. And I was like, okay. I immediately called my aunt, who's a nurse in New York. Like, she's done more, like all kinds of things. And so when I sat there with her, I was like, okay, this is what they're saying is going on. And she was like, okay, ask this, ask that. You can ask people like, what questions do you need to ask? And things like that. I absolutely am learning as I'm growing. Like, a lot of times, even with my girls, like their hair is different. And I'm like, let's look online and see if there's like natural products. Even with my girls, we have really, really bad, all of those horrible menstrual cycles.
Yeah.
And so my baby was online. She was like, yeah, they say if we use castor oil, like learning holistic natural things that we can do to help us. And so there's nothing wrong with that. Like she said, even the doctor, I say it all the time, doctors don't know 100%. They're giving you a diagnosis on the symptoms that you tell them you have. And so they're best giving you their next, their best guess as to what may or may not be wrong with you.
Right.
And that's honestly what it is. And what might work for my body might not work for her.
Exactly.
Like my body, I need a lot of medicine in order for me to be comfortable. I have a high tolerance of pain. I'm not taking that much.
Yeah.
When I had C-sections for every child, I told them that I'm getting up out of this bed. She was like, okay, I'm going to give you some pain medicine. No, I'm good. Now, that first time, I was a little crazy. I probably should have taken pain medicine.
Yeah.
But, I'm like, no, I try not to take a lot of medicine and not telling you not to, but you are allowed to do research. Okay, you're allowed to ask questions.
Exactly.
And see if there's something natural. You're right. Girl, my granddad to get sick. He'd be in that backyard. I'm like, what did you do? He's like, going in. I'm like, you in the woods? Come back. Don't ask me what it is. All I know is it smells horrible. But that next day, my boy be like, good morning. Next morning, he's
up
like,
and
hey,
at
y'all.
her.
I'm like, I don't even want to know what it is. COVID, my grandparents made me some tea. She was like, don't ask me what's in it. Just
Drink it. Yeah.
I was like, this is going to kill me. Not no more than anything.
Exactly.
Okay, grandma, I'm drinking. But I'm not going to lie, the next day I did feel better.
See?
There's natural things in the world that you can use. And for them, holistic approach is what they use. I love it. All right. So, sisterhood. Building together.
Building together.
Doing business with family can be beautiful, I'm sure, but I'm sure they're probably like, oh Lord, why? Screw it. And it's probably a whole thing sometimes. So What's it been like building a brand together as sisters?
It's been fun. Like she said, my mom taught us to be really close. Somebody just asked us this on Sunday.
Yeah.
No lie. Bree was one of my leasing agents when she was in undergrad. So I do believe in nepotism. When I got to USC, my best friend put me on in the leasing game. I put my cousin on, my cousins. Then my sister came in, and we all was getting free rent, at one point in time because, hey, every dollar you can save in college is a win. Especially when you have a job where you're interacting with other college students, it gives you a way to network.
Yep.
So when she came to USC, she was one of my leasing agents. And at first, we don't have the same last name. So it worked out. But people were like, yo, hold on, y'all look alike.
Y'all look,
I was
sure.
like, no, for a while. So she knew how I operated as a boss. And we also knew how to separate it as sisters. But there were times where if somebody would try to come at me, she would get in little sister mode.
Pause. Okay.
I'll be
So
back.
what happened was, well, all right, sorry, quick little story. All right, so it's moving, everyone's moving in, everyone's excited. Well, this family decided to skip the line and go straight to their event, and they didn't realize, like, hey, we were like a day behind with like installing like a carpet. So we were going to explain that to them at move-in, but they seen the apartment first and came in, rushing her office, like,
I had to be
it
like,
was a whole family against her, and I know her assistant wasn't like, about that life. That's my sister now. Okay.
And I could see her. I saw her at the corner of my eye go.
And then I was like,
oh my God.
Okay. And I was like, okay, I'm not your sister now, but sorry. Little sidebar.
That is what happened. That's indeed what happened.
It was all of them against her.
So we were used to working with one another then like building the brand together. Well, we were on a hiatus from work during COVID. And the day we got this LLC, we got the LLC that Thursday. And I'll never forget that Friday, my boss called me. And she said, Shaquasia, I got this vice president position for you back in Atlanta. And it's X amount of dollars. And I looked at Bree. And I said, let me think about it. And she was like, okay, I'll give you some time. Then I hung up and Bree was like, Clay, we just did the LLC. So you know what? I'm going to step out on faith. You're right. I'm going to do it. And so that's when we were just like, okay. And then we just started brainstorming and doing a lot. Like we know our strengths and weaknesses.
That was the next question.
So yeah, it's like, I'll handle operations, you handle ordering, this and doing everything else and scheduling. And then like we just have our roles. Social media is my thing, invoices and accounting is her thing. So we just make sure that we designate certain roles that we know that we're both strong in. Yeah. And it works. And after some working together, like we and I really don't have any arguments. Like we'll be like, shut up real quick. And then we'll come back and laugh. But it's never like something where we hold grudges for, no, we've never had that ever. It'd be like, girl, you you made me mad when you said boom, boom, boom. Right. And he's like, well, I didn't know that made you mad. And we know how to talk to one another. And that's the thing. I think people lack communication skills.
Yeah.
And they just want to hold on to something to be mad at. And we just won't do that. She'll be like, shut up, Shaquasia. And when she says my whole name, I'm like, oh, she mad at me for the second.
Yeah.
And she'll be mad. And then she'll be like, you still mad at me? No, we'll be for lunch. So yeah, we know how to communicate with one another, and that's important. And I actually really like my sister.
Yeah.
I remember one of our sorors telling us about a marriage. She said, I like my husband and I love my husband, but I really like him. And that is important because you can love anybody all day and not like them. But I like her. I like hanging out with her. I like being her neighbor and I like talking to her all day. We can talk
and see each other.
Yeah. That's how our relationship is.
So it works.
You really can communicate.
Just communicate. Gotta have that trust. You gotta have that balance too. But yeah, communication and stuff.
You're giving each other social cues. I say that all the time. Some of us need to learn to read the room.
Yes.
She said when she says my full name, I know she's a little mad.
Yep. Yeah.
We want to be like, well, what's the problem? Instead of being like,
yeah,
well, I love it.
Right.
And that you played the role. So I love that. And you already answered how you navigate conflict. Do you guys ever go about recipes? Be like, I don't want to put that in there. Be like, let's put that in there. Do you guys do that?
I think with recipes, because we love ginger, right? But I'm like, ginger's so good for you. And then it's just like, we got to find something without ginger. Because everybody be like, y'all got a lot of ginger on here. And it's like, girl, you wouldn't even know ginger was in there.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think right now our biggest thing is because we have like 16 juices. And I'm like, we need to, we've been just researching. It's like, okay, it might be time to scale back on the juices because I think we're giving too many options, right? But I think our company is like, what do we take away? Which one do we take away? And it's just like, so I don't know.
And we had to get outside, like we had to get a mentor.
Yeah, that just kind of, because we are, I guess when it's your baby, it's like, it's perfect, right? Like,
and it's personal, super. So it's like, girl, y'all don't need them. Y'all, when she said that, it's like, you're right. We really don't need all of this stuff. So which one is the
and you look at
ordered?
the lowest sellers, but it's like, but then somebody gonna order it like as soon as we're like.
So what do you feel like the most stretch moment you guys have had in doing business together? Like, what's the thing that stretched you guys? Maybe a relationship or just working together the most and being in business together.
The thing that stretched us the most was us trying to get up a second location.
Okay.
And then when we decided not to do it, and we looked at each other, and the way that was lifted, because I told her, I said, Bree, I can't. She's like, me either. And I was like, well, why didn't we have this conversation earlier? But I'm glad we had it when we had it. I could not do it anymore. And I saw, it was coming out of our own personal pocket. And her being a realtor, it was coming out of her pocket most. And I felt bad. I'm like, my sister just,
commission check gone.
So just seeing us trying to get that business, that location up, and how it financially stretched us the most.
Yeah,
I think that might have been the worst
feeling. Yeah. I mean, just because everyone is like expand, and sometimes you can't take advice from people who've never been in your position. Everyone has these suggestions.
Yes.
I'm like, you can't prove that that's actually going to work, right? But we're starting a business, and we're growing, and we wanted a Myrtle Beach location because everybody's like, we ain't coming to the beach. We ain't coming to the beach. Oh, baby. Yeah. And, we also looked at each other because it's like, we should have sat down and prayed about this first. We should have made sure that this was aligned with what God wanted us to do. And granted, I don't think he said, no to a second location, but that wasn't the time for us.
Yeah.
And so, it just might not be the time. And that was okay. Even though financially we got a hit, but it's okay because it was a learning lesson, and we know what not to do, for the next time. And whenever that moment does come for us again, or that opportunity, we know what to do, what to look for, and what to pray about.
Yeah, that part. It's like, I felt like we allowed people to rush us.
Yeah.
And you just can't. That's one thing I learned. Like, even when they come in now, they're like, y'all should. No, that's not my ministry. I say that real quick. No. Somebody yesterday said, y'all should. No, we're not. We won't. Never allow people to rush your level of success. Go at your own rate, because you will really, if it's up to you to try to make them happy, you will go in a hole. Like, you will dig yourself in a hole trying to satisfy somebody else. So do what you need to do for you and your business.
Did y'all catch? I did this because I wanted y'all to catch. Did y'all catch it? Like, don't allow people to rush what God is. It looks different. There's a season, a time, and purpose to everything under the sun. My most favorite scripture. Like, it will happen when it's meant to.
Yes.
That's the next segment. Y'all are just leading it right now. I love that you guys are so open about your faith, and that Jesus is the foundation of the things that you're doing. And so with that, I think you just gave it to me, like how faith guides your business decisions, taking that moment to stop and to pray and to say, okay, is this my next best yes? Because there can always be a yes. Is it my best yes? The next best yes that I'm supposed to get, right? Because I tell people all the time, you can say yes to anything that you want to say yes to, but is it the next best yes that you should be given to God? And so there's been lots of things that have been presented, I'm sure, to you and me in business. And I'm like, yeah. And then even like Combat Ready event that I'm having in November, the conference. There's been so many names that have been given to me. I'm sure. Have said this and that. Oh, this person, that person. And I'm like, thank you. Nothing wrong with the people, but I know what God has told me is supposed to be. And so with that, you have to be so careful with letting everyone in your ear. Intentions are good. Don't get me wrong with that. And they're giving me these names to help me build the lineup. But I also know not everyone is meant to be a part of the lineup.
Yeah. Right.
Nothing right now. Another event, maybe. This one, I know what he has told me.
Right.
With that, you know what he said about it. And I think sometimes people see things on social media and feel like that's everyone's. I'm like, you might be on a 2-lane highway. I might be on 4. Nothing wrong with either one. It's still going to get us there. It might take me a little bit longer. I was just telling my friend, like, we have black optics window tint. Y'all, that started 26 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, so everybody's like, oh, they're doing it. I'm like, you don't understand. There's a backstory to all of that.
Yeah.
I used to ride around with a sticker on the back of my car that said "Got Tint." When they Got Milk was big, that's when we started. And I had a sticker that said "Got Tint." We had a $49 tint special. So yes, when people look like, "Oh, you charging that much?" Yes, we are. You should have called us at 49.
Yeah.
Fighting for the best version of you. Y'all, it's been years in the making. It didn't just happen. So yes, I'm very protective of that. I'm like, this is my baby.
Right.
As you should be.
You know, tears and crying and all the things and coaching. So it takes time to build it, protect it.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Favorite scripture that you lean on?
That's a.
She's like, I got some.
Yeah, I got so many, but Jeremiah 29 comes into play. What other one?
I'm gonna go back. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not.
Listen.
I know that's right.
Nothing.
Y'all, you can have a business and faith can be a tanker. I know the world tries to make us think, you can't.
No.
It's all I have. I
Yes.
say all the time. Like, I don't have anything without him. God grows over here. You choose what you choose, but he's been everything I've needed at every moment in my life.
Yeah. And we make sure to pray together in the mornings. Like it'll be her turn, or if it's my turn, we look at each other. Oh, it's my turn. So we make sure we pray daily together. And if we don't pray together, then we dang sure praying before we go in there. But yeah,
absolutely.
God is definitely the anchor.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. The juice movement.
Yes.
Okay. What is next for y'all? Do you have any plans? You don't gotta tell everybody everything because some of y'all you guys have things like in the works, anything coming up, any specials that you're going to be running, or anything that you want to let the squad know about?
Yeah, we got some new menu items coming up. You know, so it's been requested, and we've been trying to perfect it in the background because people are like, I'm a connoisseur for that. I'm like,
I'm waiting on the day when I walk in there and give me a little sandwich or something.
Yeah.
Like I drink the juice. I've had juices from other places before, and I'm not just saying this because of my girl Gemma. I'm gonna be honest. I'd be like, okay, juice. When I get home, I'd be like, and then the one time I called, I was like, okay, wait. I don't know if I'm supposed to feel like this. Is this normal? And she was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, did I do something wrong? Did I get them out of order? Because I did a detox, like a 3-day detox.
Yeah.
And so they have a detox. They have like immunity boost,
immune boost packs, moss, wellness shots,
fruit bowls, infused waters,
and
then now we have some other things coming.
Okay, y'all hear that?
Yeah.
If you have not been, pay them a visit there
in
Conway. Right as soon as you come over the bridge, right there on the left.
5 Church Street.
Okay.
In Conway.
You heard that. 505. Okay, so if there's one one message that you can give to the women listening, what would it be? I want one for both of you, each of you.
Go with your heart. We were told, you can't play with every ball. We got to definitely take time for yourself. As women, I think we just naturally carry so much. And it's like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do this. You don't have to do everything, or because you don't want to burn yourself out. Because when you do, and it's like, well, who do I have to lean on, or who can I call? So yeah, take time for yourself, and it's okay not to be okay. Because I feel like when things aren't okay, we just like, oh my God, it can't be that. It's okay. It's okay not to be okay sometimes, and just sit in it and figure it out. But you're not wrong for being selfish.
Yeah, at all.
Take time for yourself.
I love it.
Give yourself grace. Because I'm my worst critic. I'm always like, girl, you should have did this, you should have that. I'm always moving. I'm always filling up my schedule with things that I don't need to fill my schedule up with. But like she said, take some time for yourself. Therapy helps. We all are trying to heal the baby girls inside of ourselves. So yeah, therapy has definitely helped me over the years. It calmed me down. I used to be like, now I'm just like, so therapy helps, and find you a great date your therapist. You know, you don't have to choose the first one you get. You can have another one, or you know, you can have two. But and your friends, be a great friend. Stop being mean girls, because there's a lot of women who just want to be around women, but they're not friends. They're mean. So be a friend to be a friend. Yeah, be a friend to get a friend. How about that?
I love that, y'all. I said, I'm a girl's girl. Like, I want women to win. And people look at me like, and I'm like, I walk in the rooms like, hey, like giving people, I'm a hugger. And I'm like, I haven't seen you in a while. I reached out to a girl even this morning, like, hey, girl, I hadn't seen you in a while. Hope all is well.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we should be with each other. Every win is a win for us all. Stop with the, oh, well, she did this or they're doing that. And okay, maybe they are. Who cares?
Right.
There are lots of coaches. There's only one Tasha. I say all the time, there's lots of realtors. There's only one me. We're in the same business. I'll be like, girl, you know what? You're not applying for me. Listen, these people, listen, they love this. You good with that? All right, cool. You know, everyone is not my client. I can't serve everyone.
Right.
That would be wonderful. I'm not going to be the voice that everyone listens to. Right? And it's okay. And so just learning that, be a friend.
Be a friend.
Nice. I didn't do women for a long time.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, no, that's actually your ministry. And I'm like, give me something else to do.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I said, like, no, give me something else. I was like, I don't do women.
Oh, girl.
I didn't do women.
And I didn't want that to be the narrative that I gave.
Yeah.
And so I went and did work on me.
Yep.
It was that little girl that was hurt that didn't feel valid and all of the things. And I learned I had a voice. And it was okay for me to use that voice. Is everybody going to get with the voice? No. And that's okay too.
Yep.
You know, and so it's okay. And so I really do want you to win at whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and that's how this started. Like, I wanted women to hear stories.
Yeah.
From women like you. That's like, you can win.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
You can win. All right. So, favorite part of the show, as you all know, we're going to keep it fun, like our rapid fire. Say the first thing that comes to your mind. We don't got to overthink it. All right. Your go-to juice flavor at work.
Oh, baby.
Strong burst.
Okay. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
The strong burst.
The strong burst. Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all see their favorites. Y'all need to go and try them. All right. Who's the softest of the two?
I am. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. No.
No. Oh, okay.
Bree puts it on. No, she is.
Don't play with me.
No, don't play with her. Please don't.
I love it.
I am the soft.
Bree was like, no, but let me say. No, you own it.
I have the resting face, but she definitely is the hardest one.
She's like, yeah, it's the baby.
Yeah. Because it's like, I gotta protect them.
Okay, what's your faith anthem? The song that gets you through. What's your song?
What's that song?
Go get it.
Yeah.
Go get it. Go get it.
And that was like faithfulness. Yeah, was it the faithfulness?
Yeah,
faithfulness.
Faithful.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. One word that you would use to describe your mom.
A superwoman.
Like it?
Yeah,
superwoman. Okay.
Oh, I would say straightforward. And you know, the blessing of it all. Sorry for the sad part, but you know, when people are like, she, you can't be too prepared, right, to lose your mom at an early age, but she prepared us for the real world.
Yeah.
And she didn't sugarcoat anything. And she just didn't know. Sometimes we want to protect our children from like seeing the bad out there. And she's just like, people are bad out there. Right. You got to have that discernment to know, like, that ain't your person. So she was always straightforward. Even with our friends, she told them. And I heard people were telling us, girl, your mom pulled me to the side.
Girl, listen. What she say?
She said it.
Yeah, she said. I was like, yeah, she said it.
Listen. I love that. All that people tell me, oh my gosh, I'm straightforward with my
Please.
daughters.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to.
I remember my oldest sister be like, she played softball. She'd be like, Mama, I was running fast. I'm like, and she was like, I know it felt like it, but no. But what we can do is hit a home run, so you got lots of time.
Yeah.
You can walk if you want to. And she was like, I said, you hit it over the fence. You can walk around. And they called her home run hitter.
Yeah.
I was honest with her, but I used to yell at the coach, don't you see my baby? No, she's not going to. I'm like, it felt like my baby was running. I want to be the one to tell her.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to prepare my children for when I'm not here.
Exactly.
So yes, I let them make choices at a young age because I wanted to teach them that they can trust their voice.
Yeah,
exactly.
They can trust themselves to make good choices.
Yeah, for sure.
Every day when they get out of the car, last thing I say to them is make good choices.
Yeah.
Because life is based on the choices.
It is.
That is
you
true.
are right.
Okay.
That is true.
I love it. If your sister was a juice flavor,
I said like a virgin. No, I was just like, I will give her off the menu right now. Oh my gosh, because they're all so special. I don't. Oh, she would be a big head.
why?
Hey, big head. Why? Yes.
Why? Oh, in this version of why I'm gonna say hey big head because she doesn't listen, and it's like, girl,
Okay.
I said that in that way.
Okay, little sis, you gotta
Yeah,
listen.
she don't listen to everything. It's like we're talking about this again when I already told you what to do.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
you don't listen.
What would I be, Bree?
What would yours be? What would you be?
I call her the gym bae right now because she's
Oh.
been doing her thing in the gym. I appreciate it. I'm trying to give her that. Get right.
Okay, get right. Y'all, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys for giving me your yes, sharing your story, your hearts, and all the things, y'all. You have Labria and you have Quay. If you have not visited the Juice Crush in Conway, South Carolina, give it the address one more time.
505 Church Street, Conway 29526. We're right behind California Burger, across the street from Cherry Hill Baptist Church. Right there in that brick building that was once a produce stand back in the day. But we're in there.
Y'all hear that? Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
something
you
that
for
I'm sure was
having me.
difficult to endure.
Yeah.
And you guys took it and you're building a legacy.
Yeah.
And so that's cool.
Thank you, girl.
You're so welcome, girl. I love it. Y'all tune in next week. Their episode will be me, myself, and I talking about some of the things that they were actually mentioning today about how we can use procrastination as sometimes we're waiting on God, sometimes we're not. We just ain't doing what we're supposed to do.
Oh.
Listen, we're gonna go there. We're gonna go there. So no matter what you're walking through, squad, know that you have people here that are cheering for you to win. We want you to accomplish everything that you say. You're not in this fight alone. We are here cheering and fighting with you. Y'all have an amazing day, a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.